Viewer discretion is advised. In the United States, the illegal drug trade is estimated to be a $100 billion a year industry. From the drug dealers, to the drug addicts, to law enforcement officials who try to put a stop to it, we take you inside the American drug game. Hartford, Connecticut is one of my hub cities. I move a lot of product in Hartford. But I also move a lot of product through Hartford also. This operation only supplies the customers who have the invite. There are no nickel and dime junkies who are calling my phone or any of my people's phones. I have a lot of my clients that work downtown in these big buildings and then live outside of the city in the suburbs. And then I also have clients that live in the high-end parts of the city. And just like my other operations, I have locals that keep product moving even when I'm out of the city. And I don't just hire anyone. People come to me recommended. And then of course they have to go through a vetting process. Sometimes people don't make the cut, sometimes they do. And don't think that this is just a male industry. Some of my best foot soldiers are females. A nicely dressed female making a delivery for me is also less likely to get stopped by the cops. In this line of work, you're always trying to keep the cops off your trail. Everything always needs to appear legit. Me and my people, we need to blend in with the regular people, the law-abiding citizens. Driving a car at 100 miles an hour with no seatbelt and the radio blasting is exactly what you need to get pulled over by a cop. The objective is to appear as clean-cut as possible. My people are trained to always wear their seatbelt, always obey the traffic laws, and to dress nice. It's all about the image you project, because that image can be the difference between a big payday and getting locked up by the police. As I said, Hartford is one of my hub cities. A hub city is a place where a large amount of product is stored and shipped from. Hartford is a hub city because it's easy to get into and easy to get out of from a lot of my places that I work with in the Northeast. Most people would probably think that New York City would be a hub city, and that's exactly why it's not. That's exactly what the cops would think, that a big city like New York would be a hub city for me. You have to think of it like this. Sometimes when you want to hide something, you have to hide it in plain sight. One of my top people I have working for me in Hartford is a female that runs my warehouse. It runs just like a legit business. It runs the same exact way, with customers and shipping and distribution and warehouses. But I'm not selling anything but drugs. I have a warehouse in Hartford that looks just like any other warehouse in the country, but looks can be extremely deceiving. Now my rule in a hub city like Hartford is to never keep too much product around for too long. It's just like the hot potato game. If you hold it for too long, you're going to get burned. So product is constantly moving in and moving out of my warehouse in Hartford. And believe it or not, sometimes luck is on my side, because the cops only need to be lucky once to catch me. But I have to be lucky every single day not to get caught. I worked as an undercover detective with the DA's office in the Hartford, Connecticut area. I was assigned to a special operation that was funded by the federal government. The operation was put together to infiltrate and take down any and all organized crime operations that dealt with illegal narcotics. We were only interested in going after the bigger crime organizations. The money that funded this operation specifically wanted us to target drug rings in the Hartford, Connecticut area. We started, as most drug operations do, picking off people who were at the bottom end of the supply chain. These were the low-level drug dealers who were not moving a lot of drugs. Once we were able to get one of them to work with us, and then we would set up a sting operation to go after their supplier. We were able to climb the ladder and get to a certain level of supplier, and then we kind of hit a wall. We were only a few people away from one of the larger suppliers to the Hartford area. The problem we often have when you get that close to the main person is that people who are that close to that person are not as willing to talk. Once you get to that level of the drug game, if the boss gets word that these people were picked up by the police, they often go missing. The people who are hired to move these illegal drugs are sometimes bailed out by the organizations that they work for. Once they get bailed out of jail, they ship these people out of state. Or if their boss discovers that they've been speaking with the police, they usually end up face down in a ditch somewhere. Some of these bigger drug operations have just as much money at their disposal that we do, and sometimes they have even more. The people at the top level of these crime organizations are so far removed from coming anywhere near any of these illegal drugs. It's almost impossible to catch them with having any drugs on them or near them. And the people that they hire that are closest to them are extremely loyal. People who are that close to the boss are willing to go to prison for him because they know once they get out of prison, they will be rewarded greatly.
I was a former top-level executive at a company who has a building in downtown Hartford. I developed a small drug habit that started after I had back surgery. My doctor put me on some pain medicine, and after some time went by, he stopped giving me the prescription for the pills. From that point, I just started going to different doctors until I could get the prescription for the pills that I wanted. But that again only lasted so long, and then I started buying pills from different places on the internet. In my head, I tried to justify it by saying that I was only buying pills. It's not like I was buying cocaine or something. And the fact that I wasn't buying it from some guy standing on a street corner, I was buying it off the internet. I guess it kind of justified it in my own mind. I would have the pills delivered to my office so that my wife didn't know what was going on. I was able to do that many times, and then one day, I had placed an order and the package was delivered to my office, and when I signed for the package, I was arrested. The person who was making the delivery was posing as a delivery man, but he was actually an undercover police officer. I was fired from my 6-figure-a-year job, and then I had to wait a couple years for my court case to slowly dragged through the court system. Finally, when it was all said and done, I was able to avoid jail time, and I had to pay a hefty fine. I'm still to this day trying to get my life back in order from all of that. I was one of those people that didn't realize how far over the line I had gone until it was too late. And don't think for 1 minute that just because you're buying pills off the internet from some foreign country that you're completely in the clear from the police. Buying illegal drugs are the same if you buy them off the internet from some guy in China or if you buy them from some guy standing on a street corner.
One of my drivers that I use often couldn't make a delivery one night, and it was very important that that shipment went out that night. So the female I have running the warehouse, she came through for me. The female I have running the warehouse just so happens to have her CDL license, so she was able to drive the truck that night for the delivery. Everything was going smoothly. She had the truck loaded up with the product. She headed out to make the drop. Then she ran into a situation that could have been a big problem. She's driving the truck down the road and comes to a random checkpoint. The cops were randomly pulling trucks over, checking their paperwork, checking to make sure everything was on the up and up. The cop that she happened to be dealing with just kind of looked over her paperwork and didn't ask too many questions. He was too busy trying to get my female driver's phone number. So while this cop is flirting with my female driver, there's a ton of drugs inside this truck that probably would have been the biggest bust of his entire career. And if my regular driver would have made that delivery, who knows if that cop would have searched the truck. Because in this business, it's all about playing the game the right way.